shorter and the evenings become cooler, there's nothing better than coming home and preparing a warm pot of soup. Hi, I'm Julie Gardner with Texas AgriLife Extension Service, and today I have a great Southwest chicken soup recipe for you. It's quick and easy to prepare, nutritious and low in calories, and it's something that even small children will enjoy. In my household, my 4-year-old enjoys it as well as, well, this almost 40-year-old. We're going to get started with a little bit of olive oil, about a teaspoon of olive oil. We're going to put that in our pot there. Now, one thing about it, you want to choose olive oil because it's the healthy monounsaturated choice that's on the market. It's heart healthy, but you don't have to have a whole lot, especially if you're cooking in a non-stick skillet. Sometimes we overdo it with our oil. Just a little will go a long way. To that, we're going to add a half a cup of onions, and we're going to begin to saute those in that olive oil. Just mix those around. To that, we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic, minced garlic. Add that right in there. Mix that up. And what we would like to do is we'd like to saute this for about 2 minutes until the onions become a little opaque and just to get that flavor out of that garlic. However, if you're in kind of a crunch for time, you don't have to worry so much about the whole 2 minutes because we're actually going to simmer this soup at the end for about 15 to 20 minutes. And so those onions will go ahead and cook. If you don't want crunchy onions in your soup, you won't have to worry about that. So we'll saute that up there, and that's beginning to get those flavors. I wish you were here to smell this. It smells wonderful with all the garlic. Now to that, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. And that's another reason I love this recipe. It's a one-pot dish, so little or no cleanup, besides just the pot you're cooking in and maybe your spatula or your ladle. So we'll add all of our other ingredients at this point. We're going to add 2 cups of cooked chicken. You could use a grilled chicken that you had the night before, or sometimes I really like to stop by and just pick up a rotisserie chicken from the local deli, especially if I'm in a crunch for time. So we're going to add that in to mix that all together. Okay. And then to that, we want to add 1 can of pinto beans, and make sure you're choosing the low sodium or no sodium version of them. You want to drain and rinse them. We don't want all the extra juice from the beans in this recipe. Some recipes do call for you not to drain them, but this one you want to make sure you do drain them and rinse to carry away the extra sodium that they might have on them. To that, we're going to add a can of diced tomatoes. Again, low or no sodium version is the best choice. I will tell you that I like to choose the petite diced tomatoes that are on the market. One, my family just doesn't like larger chunks of tomatoes in their soup, so we choose the petite diced tomatoes, and we're just going to add those in. Okay. It's going to give it lots of flavor and lots of color as well. Very rich in lycopene, great antioxidant that helps to fight certain cancers and helps with cardiovascular disease, so that's a great addition. And then we're going to add 1 can of whole kernel corn. I have not drained the whole kernel corn, so just go ahead and put the whole can in. Again, if you're watching your sodium intake, if you have hypertension, high blood pressure, make sure you choose the low sodium or no sodium version. And some people worry that when you start choosing those versions that there won't be any flavor. Well, you don't have to worry. In this soup recipe, we're going to add some spices at the end that are really going to kick the flavor up, and you will never notice that you're missing that sodium in it. Well, next thing is 1 small can of mild green chilies chopped. Now you could, if you wanted to kick up the flavor, you could even choose the hot. If you look on the can, they'll have a heat index. This one is mild. We don't like it quite as spicy since I have small children in my family, but we're going to mix that in, and you could definitely choose the canned version, or if you could roast your own if you wanted to add an additional flavor and determine the heat that you like. Mix that in. Now here comes the part where we're going to begin to kick up flavors. Right after we add our can of low sodium, low fat chicken broth. I'm just going to add that in because we want to make sure that we have enough moisture in it, that things don't stick, and that we have it's a true soup if it has liquid in it. So now we're adding the flavor. I have about a half a teaspoon of chili powder. Sprinkle that in. And then I also have a half a teaspoon of cumin. Now this is something that a lot of people either love or hate. If you love it, you might even want a little more. If you don't like the flavor as much, you might want maybe just a quarter teaspoon. But really, as I said earlier, you want these spices in here because that's going to remind you that you don't need sodium in your dish. That spice is going to take the flavor that the sodium usually does. Mix that up really well. Looks great. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply cover this and we're going to simmer it for about 15 minutes. That 15 minutes is going to allow two things. One, it's going to allow the onions to go ahead and finish cooking and soften up. And then two, it's going to allow all the flavors to meld together. So when that 15 minutes is done, you'll have a great kitchen, great smelling kitchen and a wonderful soup ready to serve. It's been 15 minutes and our soup is ready. As you can see, it's steaming, it's hot, it smells wonderful, and it's ready to be served up. This recipe calls for about 1.5 cups as a serving size, which is a pretty hearty serving of soup. And with this soup, with the chicken and the beans in it, it's going to be a very filling soup. We're going to finish it off with about 1 tablespoon of sour cream. Now when I say sour cream, I don't mean the full fat version. I mean the light version or no fat version, your choice. But even with the sour cream, this dish has about 211 calories, about 5 grams of fat, so it's very healthy and you're not going to have to worry about feeling guilty when you eat this. So whether it be a cold winter's night or even a hot summer day that you just need something quick and easy for your family, we hope you enjoyed today's Southwest Chicken Soup, and as always, we hope that you select Texas AgriLife Extension Service and Dinner Tonight for your recipes.